All right, great. I'd like to call to order the March 23rd, 2022 Normal Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. We'll do roll call first. Sharon Thomas. Sharon, can you say here?
Here.
Okay, thank you. Ram Kaza,
Yeah, I'm here.
Josh Mickelson,
Here.
Mark Freeman,
He's here.
Joanne Hogan. She's here, but on mute. Still on mute.
I'm
That's
here.
okay.
I'm here.
All right, thank you. Forgive my naivety, Amanda. Are you here with the applicant, public, or on the board?
I'm a commission clerk.
Okay, sweet. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that.
Very good.
Okay, then let's get right into it with public hearing, application 22-04 of John Mayak, owner applicant for variance pursuant to the Simsbury zoning regulations, section 3.5 and 3.9 for the construction of a garage addition that exceeds the maximum height limit and the construction of an exterior staircase within the side yard setback on the property located at 130 Terry's Plain Road. This is a R40 zone. And John, welcome, Mr. Mayak. Would you like to present on behalf of yourself?
Yes.
Tell us what you're asking, and if you could also let us know what the hardship is, we'd greatly appreciate it.
All right. Well, the hardship is that I have very little space at my home and I need to expand it. And in order to put a second story on my garage, I need to relief from the height requirement because the garage is stepped up in the back. It's actually built on a bomb shelter. So in order to build a second story, if I can't go a little bit higher, and I'm asking for 36 inches, the space would not really be feasible or viable. And as with regard to the stairs, I'm asking to put them on the south side of the garage, which is 39 feet from the northern border. So I just missed there. And I think you're on mute, Stephen. I can't hear you.
Well, my wife's dream has come true. Unfortunately, I know how to unmute myself. Laura, what is the setback? Just so we can gauge how much of a variance he's looking for.
It's a 40-foot setback. It's an R40 for his side yard.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, anything else, John?
I think that's it, really.
Okay. Did the commissioners have time to review our packet? And does anyone have any questions to start things off?
Yeah, so John, the stairs are exterior stairs. Are those the only stairs that go into that will go into the addition?
Yes, there really isn't enough room to put any stairs inside.
Inside, okay.
I have a question. This might be, I think it's one for Laura. But it looks like, looking at the documents, it looks like it's 18 feet from the ground to the ceiling of the second floor. And then it looks like there is a roofing above that. Is the measurement, the 15-foot measurement, is that to the peak of the roof line?
You want to do a little?
We actually, oh, sorry, Stephen,
No,
did
go
you
ahead.
want to? Okay, we actually gauged the roof by the midline.
Okay, so
for height.
So just looking at the drawings that we have, it looks like, I might be wrong on this, but it looks like it's 18 feet from the floor to the ceiling of the second floor.
That's ironically just a coincidence, Josh. So the midline is the middle between the top and the bottom of the actual roof. The fact that the ceiling is there is just a coincidence.
Ah, okay. Oh, I see it now. Okay.
Thank you.
And is this a detached garage?
Yeah, I drove by the site. It's detached. The other thing that's sort of interesting, just because it's not really shown on our plans, is these stairs are between the staircase he's proposing is between the house and the garage. So even though he needs a variance for it, it's because the whole structure's in the setback. It's the land between the house and the garage is where he's looking to put the stairs, which is logical and also enclosed from pretty much any other vantage point. So the stairs really seem almost the path of least resistance as far as accessing this.
And how high of a ceiling is that 36 inches going to give you?
I believe it will be 7.5.
Okay, so that's very standard. Okay.
Mark, you haven't said anything. How you got any questions or anything?
Not particularly. I mean, it looks like he has a lot of support from the neighbors, which is good to see. It looks like he's got 3 or 4 letters from neighbors, so it doesn't seem like it would affect anybody's, views or anything like that. So that's good to see. I don't really have. Sorry, I had just gotten in from work and I was looking at this stuff. I hadn't quite had enough time to look it over, but I don't think I have any specific questions.
Well, don't rush. Let's go. Sharon, are you there? You're on mute. Okay, we'll wait for Sharon's comments. We do seem to have a member of the general public. Would you like to speak on behalf or in regards to this application by chance?
Hi,
Ms. Shikari?
I am not on video, but I'm just a neighbor of John's. I'm one of the,
Could you state your address for the record, please? Oh, you're on mute again.
pardon, I'm not very good at this stuff. Molly Shaw Carey, 133 Terry's Plain Road.
Thank
And
you.
I'm one of the letter writers, and I just support John's variance application, and thought I'd tune into the zoning meeting to see how this sort of thing goes.
Well, great. Thank you very much for taking the time to be a part of it. We appreciate the support of the neighbors and, you going to the effort of not only writing the letter, but appearing is greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sharon, we were asking any questions for clarification. I was wondering if you had any by chance.
I don't have any at all.
All right. And then Josh, did I ask you or you asked the clarification on the roof line, but is there anything else?
I don't think I have any other questions.
Great. And Joanne, just to circle back to you, are there any clarifications? You're on mute, sorry.
It's all pretty straightforward. I'm good.
All right, and back to you, Mark. Did you come up with anything upon further review?
I don't think so. I just kind of breezed through the rest of it. I don't think so. I mean, it looks pretty straightforward, and again, it's got the support of a handful of neighbors, so it seems, I don't really have anything, Steve.
All right, that sounds great. Then without further ado, I'd like to make a motion to close the application. Would someone like to second that?
I'll second.
All right. Laura, do we need to have a vote or that suffices as far as closing the application?
You should have a vote as well, please.
Okay, let's have a vote as far as closing the application. All those in favor, please raise your hand.
Aye.
All right, that's unanimous. So there's no one to vote against or abstain. So with that being said, John, thank you for presenting. At this point forward, we're going to talk about it just a little bit, but the application is closed, so only the commissioners and the staff can talk. So we're going to make a motion in the affirmative, which is tradition. So it's going to sound like you're approved when we say this, but there's one more step after this. We always make the motion in the affirmative, we'll talk, and then we will actually vote on the motion itself as far as granting any hardship. So with that being said, would someone like to make that motion? Okay,
So we're gonna do that before we discuss? Okay.
well, don't we make a motion in the affirmative before the commissioners deliberate?
Not usually, I don't think so.
That's the way Laura, that's the way I remember it always happening.
I thought you would have a motion and then you'd open for discussion, right?
That's what we just did.
You can discuss, sometimes it depends on the commission. This is up to you. You always ask if there's any questions or clarifications in addition after the motion's made, but a lot of times people go right into a conversation about the application, which is also fine.
Okay, great.
Well, that seems like the path of least resistance. So would someone like to discuss the application now that it's been closed?
I feel like the testimonials from his neighbors are something we need to consider because it's a neighborhood where the houses are pretty far apart, but those neighbors are his immediates and they are very supportive of his application.
I agree.
And I think that speaks highly of his plan.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Stephen, I think so also. The fact that the neighbors are really supportive, I think it also shows that, you know, that he thought enough to let them know, you know, and that in that vein that they've also come out to support him. So, you know, I always think it's a neighborly thing to do when you're trying to make a change, right? And so I think that was a great thing that he did and that they did.
And
Okay,
also the fact that the fact that his garage is elevated the way it is, built on top of a bomb shelter, which is not unheard of in this town. It's not as if he can utilize that space for what he's doing. And you know, the fact that the garage is elevated creates a situation where he's just going high by a foot, 36 inches, so 3 feet. He's kind of doing what he can with the property he's got.
Yeah.
Without impacting the neighbors in any kind of negative way.
The hardship is apparent too, if you look at the site plan from an aerial standpoint with those 40-foot setback lines on either of the long sides of his property, there really is nowhere else he can do it. So anything he does is going to be in the setback, and this is by far and away the least obtrusive of a development within the footprint of the existing structures. Really, the only bump out is a stairwell, and that's between his house and the barn. So the hardship, as far as I see it, is the irregular shape of the lot necessitates allowing this application to go forward because there's no other path due to the site.
Steve, what is the actual height limitation?
I'm going to defer to Laura in case I guess wrong.
15 feet for accessory structures, 35 for primary dwellings.
That's good because I was going to guess higher.
I was trying to find it and I couldn't find it.
All right, is there any other deliberation? We have found a hardship and everyone seems to agree with the neighbors as far as it being a reasonable request for this variance. Would someone like to make a motion by chance?
I can do
Joanne,
it.
you want to do it?
I can do it, yeah. All right, so I would like to make a motion to approve application number 22-04 of John Mayak, applicant owner for variances pursuant to the Simsbury zoning regulations, section 3.5 and 3.9, to construct a garage addition that exceeds the maximum height limit and construction of an outside staircase within the side yard setback for the property located at 130 Terry's Plain Road. Let's see, so with the hardship being his irregular lot shape, he has found a plan that infringes on the setback as little as possible and it infringes on the setback by 1 foot on the R40 setback and by 36 inches on the height requirement as being the limitations.
Okay, is there any limitation on the variance?
Not very well. A limitation would be that any plans going forward would follow these specific guidelines that we've discussed tonight, 36-inch height and 1 foot on the R40.
And would someone like to second that?
I
I'll
can
second
do that.
that.
I'll leave that to Laura to figure out who said it. We'll find out with the minutes. And could all those in favor raise their hand just for clarification purposes? Aye. There's
Aye.
no- It's unanimous. Congratulations, John. Thank you. There's no one left to vote against or abstain. So the variance is granted. Thank you for taking the time to get all the letters, the information, and coming before our board.
Thank you all so very much.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Good luck.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is general commission business. For this, really, I'd just like to make sure we're all in the loop. We work obviously very closely with planning and zoning. As you all know, we lost Mike Glidden, but as you may or may not know, we've already found a replacement from the town of Vernon. George is his first name. I'm sorry, I don't recall his last name, but we're going to find out soon enough. He's going to start. Laura, it's like the second week of April. Amanda? Go ahead.
Hi, it's George McGregor.
All right, show off. Thank you for that clarification. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
Amanda, what's his first day?
I believe it is April 11th.
All right, great. Thank you. And you got Laura to nod, so that is a confirmation. He's a good guy. He seems very much in the pattern of Mike Glidden, in as much as a realistic, down-to-earth guy that's going to be a pleasure to work with a fair amount of knowledge. That is going to be a resource for us as well. So that's the good news. The bad news is right now, Tom has been our assistant town planner, but he stepped up to be the temporary town planner. He has resigned and will be moving on to Middletown. So unfortunately, we have lost another staff member, which is reason for concern, to be quite frank. And there is a little bit of a quagmire in as much as we will not even have a town planner between April 1st, which is his last day, and April 11th, which is George's first day. So things are a little bumpy, but we've had this happen before to our planning department, and I am optimistic that Laura will stay as the sole survivor on the show. And you know, there is continuity there. And honestly, Joe, the new guy, Joe Hollis, which isn't even really a new guy anymore, is still here, and he will be staying as well. So we do have our core team still in place. And, you know, we've got the head guy. And as far as the assistant town planner, we will have to see where that goes. I won't make any further announcements. With that being said, I don't think there's any other general commission business, but is there anything anyone else would like to either ask about that situation or talk about? Okay, that's a whole bunch of no's. So with that being said, let's move along to the approval of the minutes. The minutes, of course, are the February 23rd meeting. I did have the chance to go over them. I did not find anything worthy of acknowledging except for a punctuation error that I'm sure Joanne caught as well. Does anyone?
Sorry, Joanne.
I did not find it, so kudos to you, Stephen Antonio.
There was a comma, but so it was pretty insignificant. With that being said, Joanne, would you like to make a motion, or anyone make a motion to approve?
Anyone,
those
someone
minutes?
make a motion. Go ahead.
I'll make the motion. I make the motion that can I make the motion even though I can make the motion even though I'm gonna abstain, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, okay. I make the motion that we accept the minutes of February 23rd as written and reviewed.
Second.
Okay, thank you very much, Joanne. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Against?
One
And
abs-
abstain.
One abstain.
All right. So with that being said, again, Tom Hazel, I don't know if I used Mr. Hazel's last name earlier, but I want to extend thank yous because I always like to leave the door open. And albeit he is furthering his resume with another town, this may not hopefully be the last we hear of Mr. Hazel. So let's leave that door open. And I sincerely hope we work with him again sooner than later.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, everyone. I appreciate your time and efforts.
Thanks,
Are you
Stephen.
gonna say something or are you gonna make that motion?
Oh. Make a motion that we close the meeting.
Someone second it?
I'll
Second.
second.
All right.
Well,
all
Mark,
those
you
in
want to
favor?
do it? It can be Mark.
Second.
All right, all those in favor? Aye.
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 And that's not anonymous. That's unanimous.
I don't know.